Just a couple of headlines, let you know what's coming here. From thehill.com, vocal Trump critics in GOP open to supporting Clinton. There are so many See I Told You So's today. This is going to be stunning. There's an NFL See I Told You So coming up in mere moments. Then there's this. Vocal Trump critics in GOP open to supporting Clinton. And then this in the Politico. Shadow campaign to deny Trump his delegates begins. Told you all of this was on tap. All of this was going to be happening. And I want to take you back to May the 9th, 2014. May 9th, 2014. Coming up on almost, not quite, but almost 2 years ago. See if you remember me saying this.
He wasn't drafted yesterday, the openly gay Michael Sam, and now there's panic throughout the media wondering if he will be. Don't doubt me on this. He's going to be drafted. He's going to get drafted today. I just hope it's by the Redskins. What are you shaking your head for in there? Anyway, he's going to get drafted. There's no mystery to this. He will get drafted. Michael Sam wasn't drafted yesterday, and that means he's going to be drafted today. No matter how it happens, it's going to happen.
Michael Sam, the first openly gay player to announce prior to the draft that he was gay, and entered the draft in that way. And in the pre-draft run-up, there were all kinds of professional assessments that even though he had been the Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC, just didn't have what it took. Didn't have the size, didn't have the speed to play a defensive end or outside linebacker in the NFL, just was not going to excel there as a pass rusher. I mean, that's what all the smart people said. And it didn't matter to me. I knew he was going to be drafted. He had to be drafted. There was something in the works. It was going to happen. I didn't pretend to know what it was. I could have guessed. But he was going to be drafted. The NFL was going to see to it that he was drafted. And we learned from Howard Balzer, who is he's an aging sports writer. He's from St. Louis, I think. If he's the right Howard Balzer, used to be the Sporting News. I don't know who he is. Who's he with now? I'm not sure, but he's still around. Anyway, he's got a story that the Rams made a deal with the NFL to draft Michael Sam in order to not have to be participating in the HBO show Hard Knocks. A longtime NFL reporter, I thought you knew this. They're staring at me with blank faces across the glass. With everything going on, what are you talking about this for? Because it's a See I Told You So. A longtime NFL reporter revealed yesterday that the NFL agreed to a deal where the St. Louis Rams didn't have to do Hard Knocks on HBO if they drafted Michael Sam. Howard Balzer tweeted, sources say the NFL agreed not to have Rams on Hard Knocks in 2014 if they drafted Michael Sam. Michael Sam, they asked him about it. He said, I'm not shocked about this. I'm not surprised at all. Howard Balzer reported the NFL was concerned that Michael Sam wouldn't be drafted. They couldn't have that. Here comes the first openly gay player being celebrated by the drive-bys and everybody. The NFL can't afford not to draft the guy. In their minds, they can't do. In their PR related, they can't afford not to. But no team wanted him because of the professional assessment that he just wasn't professional caliber. That didn't matter. And so the news here is that the league threatened the Rams with Hard Knocks. Some teams want to be on Hard Knocks because it promotes, it sells tickets, it does this, it gets the team on the map. A lot of teams don't want any part of Hard Knocks because it's a distraction. I mean, if you're a coach, the last thing you want is a bunch of cameras and cameramen and sound people. All it is an interruption. You know as well as I do that you put a camera on a street corner and what otherwise would happen changes. Once people see the camera, they start playing to it. They can't erase the fact that it's there. And so it changes what happens. NFL coaches will say, look, I don't want these guys playing to the camera. I don't want them thinking they're being spied on. And I don't want this video footage being taken here to end up with the Patriots. That's what all coaches say. I don't want the footage that these guys being given to competing teams. So it's a very few number of teams that want to do Hard Knocks. So the league came along and said, Rams, you're doing Hard Knocks unless you draft Sam. They said, no question, we'll draft Sam. And let's put a little exclamation on point on this. Do you know who is doing Hard Knocks this coming season? The Los Angeles Rams. And what do you think that's all about? No, it's because you guys want to move to St. Louis? You want to get out of, move to Los Angeles? You want to get out of St. Louis, move to L.A.? Fine. Remember that Hard Knocks deal with Sam? It's doubling back on you guys. You want us to vote for your move to L.A.? Fine. You got to do Hard Knocks. Okay. When you measure it that way, we'll gladly do Hard Knocks. Isn't this circuitously humorous the way it all happens? But I'm just playing you to see. I told you so because I knew. It's another sterling, shining example why you should not doubt me when I make these prognostications, predictions. And no matter how sure of myself, I know that the more sure of myself I sound to certain people, the more off-putting it is. Because nobody's supposed to be that sure of themselves. I get that. Nobody is supposed to be that confident. There's supposed to be a lot of gray area. The true measure of a refined, intelligent person is to admit that he may not be right. And this attitude, by the way, has infected much of conservatism. If I may make a brief stream of consciousness departure here. What I mean by this is, how many times do you pick up a conservative opinion piece? And it reads something like this. I think X, but I understand why the people who don't think X think Y, and I am perfectly understanding, and I am perfectly willing to tolerate. They may have a point. They could very well be right, but I maintain that my position on X is what it should be. But if they don't agree, the last thing I want to do is try to force them to. So while I see point X, I even see people that disagree with both of us. I can understand all points of view on this. I really do think that I'm right, but I don't want to go to the mat on it. That is considered sophistication. That is considered open-mindedness. That is considered an acknowledgement that you don't know it all, which is supposedly the right way to be. And, of course, when I think I know something, I say I think I know it, and I don't hedge it. And that just, it off-puts a lot of people. I'm just telling you, when I get into one of those modes, do not doubt me, as is the case here.